Alright, today we're going to be trying to get this old grain truck to run. I bought it about 7 years ago at an auction, maybe even 8 now. And it didn't run then. When I was pulling it home, or getting it pulled home, I let out the clutch and popped the engine over a couple times. And it did fire a little bit, so, but it, you know, wouldn't run. So we're gonna get this thing going today. Throw some gas in it, see if we can get fuel at least going up to the carburetor. That should be enough for now. I think I put in about 2 gallons or so maybe. This is just one I pulled out of a tractor, but put the charger on it, got it all charged up. I just checked it and it's holding its charge, so. Alright, so now we're going to see if we got fuel flow up at least to the fuel filter. So we're going to take off this line here. Alright, then we'll kick it over. Oh yeah, I did check to make sure it has oil, and it does. If it didn't have oil, you would not want to try spinning it over and try to get it started with no oil in it. But so I'll just go bump the key and we'll see if we can get some fuel coming out of here.
Nope.
Okay, we can't get any gas to come up. And so maybe a fuel pump. I'm going to try to blow backwards through the line and see what I get. Well, I can't blow on it, I can't suck on it. It's like it's plugged, so might have to take that fuel pump off. The gas line here is leaking. I do not think that is the problem, but we'll start by just replacing this line that comes from the tank to the fuel pump. Let's see here. I wonder if we should pull off this line. I doubt the plug is in this line, but it could be. Maybe. We're going to see if we can blow through this. Ooh, she's plugged. Oh, yeah. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So right in there, that's where it goes into the fuel pump. As you can see, it is full of crap. Like just plugged full of crusty. So now we're going to try spinning it over with that line off, which I can already see gas running out of it. So I'll go kick it over and I'm sure gas is just going to shoot out.
A lot. Now it's not, but not as much, but there was a lot when you were spinning it over.
Alright, let's see if we can clean this out. Ah! Alright, got that all tightened up. So now I'll go kick it over. We'll see if we got fuel coming out of that line up there, which we should. No gas?
No. Now we do.
Take our air filter off. So I don't really know a whole lot about carburetors. I probably should know more, but I don't. But I believe this little screw on the side here is kind of like your level of your float. So that way you can tell if it's getting too much fuel, gas would be coming out, I believe. So we're going to take this screw out, try to kick it over, and we'll see what happens. Let's kick it out, I guess. We'll kick it over, we'll see if any gas comes out of there. So this right here is the needle and seat. So we'll take that off and we'll see it's probably plugged, and that's why the gas isn't getting inside of the float bowl here. Yeah, she's a bit crusty. So this is the needle and seat. There's a float inside. When it comes up, goes up like that, shuts off gas flow inside the float bowl. When enough gas gets used up inside of the float bowl, the float comes down, allows gas to come in. So now we will try to kick it over. With this removed, we'll see if any gas comes out of the carburetor.
Yeah, there's gas coming out.
Looks like there's supposed to be an O-ring right here. I do not know enough about carburetors to know if there's supposed to be an O-ring there or not. So this is just a radio antenna. I'm just taking it in here to poke around. So I can lift up and I can hear the float dropping. So the float is free, which is good. So I think we'll throw the needle and seat back in. Maybe we'll take this plug out the other side over here. See if that side is plugged. Alright, so we got the needle and seat removed off the other side. So we will try to kick it over and see if we can get some gas coming out the top of the carburetor there, or the side. I'm going to put the plug back in that front one, so that way the gas will not shoot up there. It'll go down into this float bowl, hopefully, and then we'll see if we got gas going over to that other side.
Oh, we got a little bit in the back.
To check these needles and seats, you can actually look down in there. right down in there, and might need to, you know, bang it on something, try to get crap out, and now we'll throw that back in. Alright, let's pull the... Oh, that bumblebee's back.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get that one loose. Well, I guess we'll just try kicking it over, see what happens.
Okay. Nothing! Now we got some stuff!
We'll put the plug back in right there. WD-40 or something. The throttle's a bit sticky. Oh, it's getting better now. I hit the gas pedal in the grain truck and it ended up just staying to the floor. Okay.
Ooh, that's it.
So, from my understanding, these right here are the vents for the float bowl. All that gas coming up here means that the float bowl's over full, which means either our needle is stuck open or our float isn't moving. So we're probably going to have to take this float bowl off to diagnose what's going on. I guess first thing we'll do is we'll take off the fuel line. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have a fire extinguisher handy when you're doing this, because if you do this, because if you did get it started for a little bit like we did, and then you're going to go diagnose, you're leaking flammable fluids on a hot engine. Luckily for us, ours didn't run very long. So now we got our screws out. Let's see here. There's a tube that runs from over here to the other side over there. It's like your fuel crossover for both sides. Like I said, I'm not an expert on carburetors. Won't this come apart? Maybe she just needs some. There's some movement. I think my hopes for having a full gasket is not looking so hot right now. So looking in the float bowl here, it looks like maybe the needle is stuck up, which doesn't really explain why it was getting over-fueled. I'm able to shake it and the needle goes back and forth, So it feels like it's fairly free. Let's get everything back reinstalled. When I pulled it off, I kind of ripped some of the gasket off up here on the top. So we can put it together just to see if it runs, but it's not a forever fix. Alright, so we're still having our fuel issue with this side. I'll have to do some research and get back to you. So after doing some research, I found, so the sight plug here needs to be removed, and the screw with the flathead is actually just like a, that's to keep it tight. And you can adjust this bottom nut for your gasoline level inside of the float bowl there. So we're going to take this out. Yeah, it's way over full right now. So what we're going to do, loosen this set screw on top here, and then we will turn our needle and seat down a little bit, tighten up our jam nut again. Still really hard to tell. Then eventually you can start it up and let it run, and you shouldn't have any gas coming out of here for the most part, unless you shake it. You know, you might see a little bit come out. But well, I guess we'll try starting it up, and we'll see what comes out of here. She was getting way too much fuel in there. So we're going to have to turn that in quite a bit, I think. Good news is, we didn't start the truck on fire. But you know what? It's a learning experience, I suppose. Well, I guess we'll try it again and hope that more gas doesn't come out of there. Alright, that is a lot of gas. A lot more than it should be. I think we'll take our needle and seat out. So I might have turned my seat a little too far in, I think. And now having trouble trying to get it out. Well, I think I'm going to have to take the float bowl off now. So that way I can try to get the seat off from inside. So it's needle and seat went down so far, it's pushing the float down. And so like right now, there should not be any way for this to allow gas in. But if you, can see it's pushed up tight. So we're going to block off the holes and blow in here. And we're able to blow through. I think what happened, there's an O-ring, supposed to be an O-ring in here, and I think because that O-ring is missing, the gas is able to just fall down freely into the float bowl and wreak havoc. Why doesn't that want to come? We are going to try to pull off this little clip here. That way we can pull the float out, and then we can see about trying to get the needle and seat turned back up where it is supposed to be. See, now what you want to do is take your float and shake it, because if it had a hole in it, gas would be getting inside of it, and when you shake it, you'd hear it sloshing around, which that one sounds good, so we don't have a sinking float. Okay, let's see if that is enough to get our nut on top. Now I cannot get this screw into the needle and seat. Must have been when I tried grabbing it with the pliers up here, I must have squeezed it together because it is only brass. So I guess we'll finish turning that out. We'll have to get a tap, run that down there, tap it out. And yeah, so this is where I'm thinking that O-ring needs to go, which will prevent this from happening. So I'm gonna go tap this hole out here and put an O-ring on here. Then we'll try throwing it back together, see if that takes care of our problem. I was not able to fix that needle and seat off of the carburetor. Worst case scenario, I'll have to go buy a new one. I did have a junk carburetor sitting in my shop. It's a little bit different design, but I think it'll still work the same. The threads are the same, at least. So we will put our float back in. Alright. Now for the moment of truth. I guess we'll see if this fits down in here. And it does. Well, let's get this thrown back on. Let's start it up and see if we have tons of fuel gushing out of that sight glass on the side.